In the dead of night, Peru's Congress moves. 118 votes, 0 dissent. President Dina Boluarte, once untouchable, now impeached in disgrace. Crime surging, corruption festering, and a nation chanting one phrase: "We're governed by shame." From Rolexes to gunfire, Peru's crisis erupts into chaos. This is Power Collapsing Live. In a dramatic turn of events, Peru's Congress voted to remove President Dina Boluarte, who is counted among the world's most unpopular leaders. Political parties from across the spectrum called for her removal in a late-night session. Lawmakers voted 118-0 to remove Boluarte, invoking a constitutional clause that permits Congress to declare the presidency vacant on grounds of permanent moral incapacity, and summoned her to defend herself before Congress an hour later. She never appeared, and lawmakers had sufficient votes to proceed with a rapid impeachment process. Her removal comes after a brazen shooting at a cumbia concert and mounting frustration over her failure to curb rampant crime. Both lawmakers and demonstrators outside the building erupted in cheers. Boluarte addressed the nation after her ousting.
Today, October 10th, 2025, after 2 years, 10 months, and 3 days, I stand before you as the woman who, on December 7th, 2022, with courage and love for my country, assumed the constitutional mandate as President of the Republic. Then, I received with honor the presidential sash from the Congress of the Republic, the same Congress that today approved the presidential vacancy, with the implications that this has for the stability of democracy in our country. At all times, I have called for unity, for working together, for fighting for our country. In this context, I have not thought of myself, but of the more than 34 million Peruvians who deserve better. We deserve growth with democratic stability and a government that works without corruption, as we have been doing during my government.
The President of Congress, Jeri, is next in line to serve as interim president until the general election scheduled for April 12th, unless lawmakers elect a new leader from among themselves. As Peru's lawmakers swore in Congress Chief Jeri as the country's new president, he signaled he would take a tough approach on rising insecurity.
The promise to begin building and laying the foundations of a country that allows for empathy and reconciliation among all Peruvians. We must lay those foundations today. The main enemy is out on the streets. Criminal gangs and criminal organizations. They are our enemies today. And as enemies, we must declare war on crime. To do so, we have our national police, we have our armed forces, and we must commit the other institutions of the state.
Boluarte's ouster represented a sharp reversal by the right-wing and centrist parties that had effectively governed in coalition with her for the past 3 years, even as her approval rating plunged as low as 2 to 4% from about 21% when her term started. On October 10th, Congress approved 4 motions to impeach her with the support of parties across the ideological spectrum. Her downfall comes amid widespread outrage over rising crime. Peru is grappling with a surge in gang-controlled extortion and contract killings, with extortion cases skyrocketing from a few hundred in all of 2017 to more than 2,000 per month this year, according to national police data. Dozens of bus drivers targeted by extortion rings have been killed on the job in the past 2 years, and several concerts, stores and other small businesses have been attacked with explosives. As lawmakers prepared to debate Boluarte's impeachment, TV crews and small crowds of protesters gathered outside the Ecuadorian embassy in Lima, where she was rumoured to be considering asylum once she lost presidential immunity. One protester held a sign reading, "We're governed by shame," toward television cameras. Earlier this week, Boluarte advised Peruvians not to respond to calls or messages from extortionists. "Don't open those calls, those messages," she said. "Tell the police." Her measures, including repeated states of emergency, have largely failed to curb violence, and experts say several laws she backed to protect political allies have undermined the prosecution of organised crime. In the latest example, on the night of October 8th, men on motorcycles opened fire with a machine gun on a popular cumbia band performing in Lima, leaving 4 members wounded, according to local media. Boluarte became president after her predecessor, Pedro Castillo, the Marxist Party leader for whom she was serving as vice president, was impeached and arrested in 2022 for attempting to seize control of Congress and the judiciary. Dina Boluarte became Peru's first woman president, serving from December 2022. Her career encapsulates a rapid and controversial rise to power, marked by both historic changes and intense political turbulence in Peru. A lawyer by education, Boluarte's professional journey began in the legal and civil service sectors. In 2007, she joined Peru's National Registry of Identification and Civil Status, RENIEC, a key government agency, becoming a legal advisor and eventually rising to head a regional office. These 15 years at RENIEC were regarded as highly technocratic and shaped her reputation as an effective administrator. Her political entry was relatively late and initially marked by setbacks. Boluarte ran unsuccessfully for district mayor in Lima, 2018, and for a congressional seat in 2020. She gained significant visibility as a member of the left-wing Free Peru Party and was tapped as the vice presidential running mate of Pedro Castillo in the 2021 elections. Following their narrow victory, she served as both vice president and minister of development and social inclusion. Presidency. Boluarte became president on December 7, 2022, after President Castillo's failed attempt to dissolve Congress, which led to his impeachment and arrest. She initially presented herself as a moderate and progressive leader despite her association with Free Peru, a Marxist party. Her ascendancy was seen as accidental by some, as she was not widely known nationally before taking office. However, her presidency was marred by a series of major controversies, including corruption scandals, accusations of authoritarianism, and crackdowns on protests that resulted in multiple deaths. One of the most significant scandals was Rolexgate. Boluarte was accused of accepting luxury gifts, specifically multiple Rolex watches and diamond-studded jewelry from regional political allies in exchange for government favors, such as favorable decrees and expanded regional budgets. She failed to declare these luxury goods as mandated by law, prompting raids on her home and the presidential palace and a formal criminal investigation for illicit enrichment. While she claimed these watches were a loan, evidence and records contradicted this defense, keeping the scandal in national headlines throughout 2024-25. Boluarte's government also faced widespread condemnation for using excessive force against demonstrators following the ousting of her predecessor, Pedro Castillo. The most notorious incidents were the Ayacucho massacre in December 2022. The military and police responded to airport protests by firing live rounds, killing 10 protesters and injuring 61, mostly from indigenous communities. Another one was the Juliaca massacre. In January 2023, police opened fire on demonstrators, resulting in 18 civilian deaths and over 100 injuries. Both events were internationally criticized as massacres by human rights groups and labeled as extrajudicial executions. However, in August 2025, Boluarte signed into law an amnesty bill granting immunity to security forces accused of committing atrocities during the protests and historical armed conflicts. The law faced heavy criticism from the UN and human rights groups for preventing justice for survivors of state violence. Other scandals that damaged her credibility include her mysterious absence in 2023. Boluarte underwent plastic surgery, rhinoplasty, and disappeared from public view for nearly 2 weeks without delegating her powers, sparking accusations of neglecting presidential duties and hiding the true nature of her absence from Congress and the public. She was also accused of helping a fugitive politician escape arrest by providing a presidential vehicle. Following these incidents, her public ratings fell sharply, fueled by perceptions of corruption, impunity, and disregard for democratic norms. Facing multiple legal probes, Boluarte benefited from judicial rulings and congressional allies that shielded her from prosecution while in office. Collectively, these controversies fueled massive protests, led to cabinet resignations, and ultimately laid the groundwork for her impeachment and removal from office in October 2025. Peru is undergoing a severe crime wave in 2025, marked by surging violence, rampant extortion, and a weakened state response, creating a deep governance and security crisis across the country. In 2025 alone, Peru declared multiple states of emergency, empowering police and military with expanded powers to arrest without judicial warrants and deploying troops to cities, especially Lima and Callao, following high-profile killings and extortion rackets. The latest emergency was prompted by the brazen killing of Paul Flores, the popular 39-year-old lead singer of a Peruvian band called Harmonia 10. Flores was shot dead by assailants who attacked a bus he was riding in with bandmates and attempted to extort money from them as they left a concert. Peru has seen a spate of killings, violent extortion and attacks on public places in recent months. According to the Peruvian police, there were 459 killings across the country between January 1st and March 16th, and over 1,900 reports of extortion in January alone. Many Peruvians point to the fact that the extortion and homicide racket may be far more severe than official statistics suggest. Plenty of those affected by criminality do not report their misfortune for fear of reprisal by criminal gangs. The crime epidemic has overwhelmed the authorities and is threatening to transform a relatively tranquil Latin American country into a source of regional instability. The central bank has warned that crime was choking economic growth, and experts say it is contributing to increased migration.